Yo, so today we have the one and only 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. We're going to be looking at Law 12 today. That is, use selective dishonesty and generosity to disarm your victim. A quick go over selective honesty and generosity will go further than dishonesty while you poke holes in your victim's armor. This allows you to deceive and manipulate. This is a law of power. We're going to look at an observance of when this was put in action. Back in 1926, there was a Count Victor Lustig, and he was a fresh-dressed man that was really keen on money-making schemes, and he actually approached Al Capone asking for a loan of $50,000, saying, "Mr. Capone, I will double the money in 60 days. And this really entertained Capone. He was thinking, who is this guy asking me for all this money? He was enthused. He thought either this guy is going to actually come through on his claim of doubling the money in 60 days, or Capone figured he's going to try to skip town. It was one or the other. So after that money was loaned, 60 days went by, and the Count returned to Al Capone with the original $50,000 note. He didn't come through on his original promise of doubling the money, but he also didn't come back empty-handed. And this is something Capone wasn't actually expecting. He's a ruthless guy who's used to dealing with ruthless people, and this was different. The Count returned with the $50,000, so it acted as a gesture of loyalty. Al Capone actually commented. He was like, Count, I know you're a con man, but if you're in a hard place, here's $5,000. And the Count had such a grasp on human psychology that this was his plan the entire time. He knew Capone was used to dealing with just ruthless people that would have pretty much taken the money and run almost every time. So that was huge. That was his original plan, to get some money from Al Capone. So an interpretation of that Law 12, using selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. An interpretation, we're looking at that Count Victor Lustig. He had audacity, he was fearless, with a functional understanding of human psychology. I mean, he acted sincere in his dealing with Capone, and he acted so sincere he believed himself the whole time, and he didn't have a plan at all. Al Capone getting that $5,000 was his plan. He didn't have an actual plan to double the money. But with acting sincere enough and being a parent and seeming unmistakably honest, those are the points that'll help you use this selective honesty and generosity. Lustig's fearless act of selective dishonesty earned him a voluntary commission from Al Capone. So it's pretty substantial stuff. Keys to power, you're going to look at kindness, generosity, or honesty. That's what's going to disarm people's suspicions. Giving before you take. So providing value before someone provides value to you. It's a pretty basic concept. People do not admire neediness. Selective honesty is best used at the start of a relationship. Building a reputation of honesty through a series of acts, that's something that people will remember for a long time. Employing generosity, that's good because enemies will even accept gifts, like the Trojan horse. It didn't go well for the enemies, but it was a gift that they accepted. And what the Trojan horse did in one afternoon, it would have taken a decade of battle to do. We'll look at another ancient Rome example of using selective honesty and generosity. We'll look at Roman general Camillus. He used selective kindness when a teacher in Faliscan, they were trying to overthrow Siege Faliscan. So one of the teachers in this town actually brought the children of a bunch of nobles as hostages to this Roman general. And that went against the Roman general's principles and codes and values. So they were like, we're not going to take these kids as hostages, but we're going to bring all of you back to Faliscan. And the kids, they scourged the teacher the entire way back to their land. And this was huge for the Roman general. This was actually an act of selective kindness. I mean, I'm sure they didn't want to hurt kids, but this act of selective kindness disarmed the nobles and everyone in Faliscan, and it built a layer of trust for the Roman general. And once you get to that point with someone, I mean, it's like you're talking to a gullible child. But if someone does catch on to your charade, it's game over. Like, you're getting buried. So that was Law 12. Pretty straightforward, using selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. Watch out for this stuff. I mean, there are just people that are naturally like this. Oh yeah, quick reversal on Law 12, using selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. This is when you do the exact opposite. And here's a quick example. Count Lustig blatantly lied to an industrialist during the sale of the Eiffel Tower. He claimed to be a politician and backed up his claim by asking for a bribe and saying he wasn't paid enough. And this industrialist, he knew that, a politician asking for a bribe, he must actually be a politician. So that's when the Count did not use selective honesty and generosity. He was being dishonest, and he was just blatantly lying to pose as a politician during the sale of the Eiffel Tower. He played poor, and the money was forked over to him. That's a reversal when you're not using selective honesty and generosity. Hope you liked it. Have a nice day.